I raised my sister after our parents passed away, but she banned me from her wedding because she felt ashamed of my poor financial situation. She got really furious when she saw me at the wedding, but then a man appeared and said, "She's my plus one, though." Sister begged me for forgiveness. I'm Selena, 37 years old. So let me start from the beginning. Life wasn't exactly a walk in the park for me and my sister, Alexis. Our parents weren't exactly rolling in dough, if you know what I mean. Things were tight, like really tight. So tight that I had to drop out of high school at 16 to help support the family. Yeah, not exactly the sweet 16 most girls dream of. Our dad, well, let's just say he had a complicated relationship with alcohol. And by complicated, I mean he'd rather spend money on booze and gambling than, oh, I don't know, food for his kids. Real stand up guy, right? So it was mostly up to me, my mom, and little Alexis to keep things afloat. Now, Alexis was a different story. She was the family's golden ticket, our potential way out of poverty. Mom and Dad saw her beauty and decided to milk it for all it was worth. They'd enter her in every pageant show they could find, hoping she'd bring home some cash. Spoiler alert, it didn't exactly pan out the way they hoped. Life threw us another curveball when I was 22. Our parents passed away in a car crash, leaving me to take care of 15-year-old Alexis. Talk about a reality check. One minute I'm trying to figure out my own life, the next, I'm responsible for a moody teenager. Fun times, let me tell you. Those first few years were rough, to say the least. Alexis and I never really got along as kids, and suddenly being thrust into this parent child dynamic didn't exactly help. She was angry. I was overwhelmed, and we both had no idea what we were doing. Alexis, please just do your homework. I'm begging you. You're not mom. You can't tell me what to do. No, I'm not mom, but I'm trying my best here, okay? We're all we've got now. Despite the rocky start, I busted my butt working at the factory to make sure Alexis could get a decent education. I wanted her to have the opportunity I never had, you know? And you know what? It paid off. Alexis turned out to be a whiz at business studies. She was so good that she snagged a full ride scholarship for her master's degree. I was over the moon proud of her, my little sister going places. Alexis, this is amazing. I'm so proud of you. Thanks, I guess. It's not that big of a deal. Are you kidding? It's huge. We should celebrate. But Alexis, well, let's just say she wasn't exactly overflowing with gratitude. I did my best to support her, to give her everything she needed, but for her, it was never enough. As soon as she finished her master's, Alexis was out the door faster than you can say sayonara. She moved out and basically ghosted me. Yeah, you heard that right. My own sister, the one I raised, decided I wasn't good enough to be in her life anymore. At first, I thought maybe she just needed some space, spreading her wings and all that. But as days turned into weeks and weeks into months, I realized this was more than just a phase. I tried reaching out. Oh boy, did I try. I'd call, text, and even show up at her workplace. But Alexis, she wanted nothing to do with me. It was like I was some embarrassing secret she needed to hide. Alexis, please, can we just talk? I'm busy, Selena. I have a meeting. You always have a meeting. Can't we grab a coffee or something? I miss you. Look, I've got a new life now. I don't have time for this. Ouch, right? That this Felt like a slap in the face, but hey, I'm nothing if not persistent. I kept trying, hoping that one day she'd come around. Meanwhile, life went on. I kept working at the factory I was working at, slowly climbing the ladder. But the time I hit 35, I'd managed to snag a managerial position. Not too shabby for a high school dropout, if I do say so myself. It was around this time that I met Hester. And let me tell you, this guy was something else. Picture this: tall, dark, handsome, and a local celebrity to boot. He swaggered into the factory one day, all business and bravado, looking to strike some kind of deal. Now, I'm not one to be starstruck, especially by some hotshot businessman who thinks he owns the place. So when he started getting all entitled and rude to my coworkers, I decided to give him a piece of my mind. Excuse me, Mr. Big Shot, you might be used to people kissing your feet, but around here, we treat everyone with respect. Got it? Excuse me? Do you know who I am? Yeah, I do. You're the guy who's about to learn some manners to take his business elsewhere. I swear you could have heard a pin drop in that factory. Everyone was waiting to see if I just committed career suicide. But to everyone's surprise, especially mine, Hester burst out laughing. Well, well, it's been a long time since anyone's had the guts to talk to me like that. I like you. Selena, my name's Selena. Selena, how about we discuss this deal over coffee? I have a feeling you'd be an interesting negotiator. And just like that, Hester and I became thick as thieves. Who would have thought, right? The factory manager and the local celebrity are best buds. Life's funny that way sometimes. While my friendship with Hester was blooming, my relationship with Alexis was, well, non-existent. The only news I got about her was from social media or local news. Turns out my little sister had become quite the entrepreneur. She started her own business selling women's undergarments, kind of like a local version of Fenty. And let me tell you, people were eating it up. Every time I saw her success plastered all over the internet, I felt this weird mix of pride and hurt. Pride because, well, that's my sister making it big. But hurt because she couldn't even be bothered to share any of this with me. I kept trying to reach out, but it was always the same story. Hey, Alexis, I saw your new line is doing great. Maybe we could catch up over dinner? My treat. I'm really busy with the launch. Maybe some other time. Spoiler alert. Some other time never came. Then, just as I was about to turn 37, I saw something on social media that felt like a punch to the gut. My baby sister, the one I'd raised, was engaged. And I had to find out about it from a freaking Instagram post. That was it, the final straw. I decided enough was enough. It was time to confront Alexis once and for all. So I did what any rational, mature adult would do. I stormed over to her house like a woman on a mission. When I got there, I must have looked like a mad woman, demanding to see Alexis. The security guy probably thought I was some crazy fan. But eventually, Alexis allowed me in, probably just to avoid a scene. But hey, I'll take what I can get. As soon as I saw her, all the anger and hurt I'd been bottling up for years came pouring out. What the hell, Alexis? You're getting married and I have to find out from social media? After everything we've been through? Selena, calm down. You're making a scene. A scene? Oh, I'll show you a scene. Why have you been shutting me out? I raised you, for crying out loud. Look, Selena, I appreciate what you did for me, really, but you're not invited to the wedding. I swear, at that moment, I felt like I'd been slapped. Not invited? To my own sister's wedding? But Alexis wasn't done dropping bombshells. In fact, I think it's best if we keep our distance. I can offer you some money if you promise to leave me alone. I can't have people finding out I'm related to someone, so, well, you know. Someone so what, Alexis? Poor? Is that what you were going to say? Don't be so dramatic. It's just my image is important for my business. You understand, right? Understand? Understand? Oh, I understood all right. I understood that my sister, the one I'd sacrificed everything for, was ashamed of me. Oh, because I didn't fit into her fancy new life. I was so hurt, so angry that I couldn't even speak. I just turned around and walked out, ignoring Alexis calling after me. The money she'd offered, I didn't want a cent of it. My sister's love wasn't for sale. As soon as I got home, I called the one person I knew would understand, Hester. Bless that man. He came over right away with a bottle of wine and a sympathetic ear. Can you believe her, Hester? After everything I've done, she's ashamed of me. Me, her own sister. That's messed up, Selena. Families should stick together no matter what. I don't know what to do. I've lost her, Hester. I've really lost her. Hey now, don't talk like that. We'll figure something out. No one messes with my best friend and gets away with it. As I sat there crying into my wine glass, Hester got this look in his eye. You know, the one that I've got an idea look that usually leads to either brilliance or disaster. Hey, Selena, I just remembered. I got an invitation to Alexis' wedding. Of course you did. You're exactly the kind of person she wants there. Rich, successful, fits her image. True, but here's the thing. The invite says +1. I looked at him, not quite getting where he was going with this. Yeah, so you gonna bring a hot date or something? Nope, I'm gonna bring you. I nearly choked on my wine. Was he serious? Hester, are you crazy? Alexis will flip her lid if she sees me there. Exactly. Look, your sister needs a wake-up call. And I, for one, would love to see the look on her face when she realizes her embarrassing sister is best friends with one of her potential investors. I had to admit, the idea was tempting, very tempting, but also terrifying. I don't know, Hester. It sounds a bit shady. Maybe. But sometimes you need to fight fire with fire. Besides, you deserve to be at your sister's wedding, and if she can't see that, well, maybe it's time to open her eyes. The more I thought about it, the more I warmed up to the idea. Why shouldn't I be there? I was family after all, and if Alexis couldn't accept me as I was, well, maybe it was time for a little reality check. You know what? Let's do it. Let's crash this wedding. That's my girl. Now, let's get you a dress. That'll knock their socks off. The next few weeks were a whirlwind of preparation. Hester insisted on buying me a designer dress that probably cost more than my monthly salary. I tried to refuse, but he wouldn't hear of it. Consider it an investment in your self-esteem. Besides, I can't have my +1 looking anything less than fabulous. As the big day approached, I started having second thoughts. What if this was a huge mistake? What if I was just making things worse? But every time I wavered, Hester was there to boost my confidence. Finally, the day of the wedding arrived. As Hester and I pulled up to the swanky venue, I felt like I was going to be sick. Hester, I don't know if I can do this. Hey, look at me. You're Selena, the woman who stood up to me when I was being a jerk. The woman who raised her sister single-handedly. You can do anything. Now, let's go show your sister what she's been missing. With Hester's words ringing in my ears, I took a deep breath and stepped out of the car. Here goes nothing, I thought. We made it through the ceremony without incident. I stayed hidden in the back, not wanting to cause a scene during the actual vows. But as we moved to the reception, I knew it was only a matter of time before Alexis spotted me. And spot me she did. I was at the bar trying to calm my nerves with a glass of champagne when I heard a screech that could only be my dear sister. "Selena, what the hell are you doing here?" All eyes turned to us. I could feel the weight of 100 curious stares, but I stood my ground. "Hello, Alexis. Congratulations on your wedding. You look beautiful." "Don't you congratulations me. I told you you weren't invited. How did you even get in here?" She was causing quite a scene, her face turning an impressive shade of red. Just as I opened my mouth to respond, I felt a hand on my shoulder. Hester had arrived, right on cue. "Is there a problem here, ladies?" Alexis' eyes widened as she recognized Hester. Her mouth opened and closed a few times like a fish out of water. "Mr. Hester, there seems to be some confusion. This woman wasn't invited and—" "Oh, but she was invited. She's my +1. The look on Alexis' face was priceless. If I wasn't so nervous, I might have laughed. You're +1? But how do you know her?" "Know her? Selena here is my best friend. Has been for the past couple of years. In fact, she's the reason I considered investing in your company in the first place." Now it was my turn to be shocked. I knew Hester was planning to invest in Alexis' business, but I had no idea I had anything to do with it. Alexis looked like she was about to faint. Her new husband had joined us by this point, looking thoroughly confused. "Honey, what's going on? Who is this?" It's my sister." The poor guy looked even more confused. Apparently Alexis hadn't mentioned having a sister. Shocker. Hester, bless his heart, wasn't done yet. He turned to address the crowd that had gathered around us. "Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to make a toast to Selena, the most hardworking, selfless person I know. The woman who dropped out of high school to support her family. The woman who raised her little sister single-handedly after their parents passed away. The woman who worked tirelessly to ensure her sister could get an education and follow her dreams. The woman who, despite all her sacrifices, was banned from her own sister's wedding because she wasn't successful enough." You could have heard a pin drop in that reception hall. Alexis looked like she wanted the ground to open up and swallow her whole. "So here's to Selena and to family, because true family sticks together no matter what." As Hester finished his speech, I could see the realization dawning on people's faces. The whispers started, and I could only imagine what they were saying. Alexis' carefully crafted image was crumbling before her eyes. Alexis, to her credit, seemed to finally understand the gravity of what she'd done. She turned to me, tears in her eyes. After Hester's big reveal about who I was and how Alexis had treated me, the crowd was in an uproar. I'm talking pure chaos. Alexis tried to do some damage control, but let me tell you, it was like trying to put out a forest fire with a water gun. "Everyone, please, I can explain." But the crowd wasn't having it, not one bit. You could practically feel the judgment radiating off of them. It was like they suddenly realized they were at the wedding of the Wicked Witch of the West or something. "How could you treat your own sister like that? And after everything she did for you, disgusting." Alexis was frantically trying to salvage the situation, but it was too late. The paparazzi, because of course there were paparazzi at this fancy schmancy wedding, were having a field day. They were snapping pictures left and right, probably already thinking up nasty headlines for the morning papers. I caught a glimpse of Alexis' new husband, and let me tell you, he did not look happy. His face was a mix of confusion and anger. Turns out, Alexis hadn't just been lying to the world, she'd been lying to him too. Yikes. "You told me you were an only child. What else have you been lying about?" Double yikes. I almost felt bad for Alexis, but not really. But the hits just kept on coming. Hester, bless his dramatic soul, wasn't done yet. He stepped up again, glass in hand, looking every bit the powerful businessman he was. I'd like to make another announcement. As a potential investor, I believe in doing business with people of integrity. And after witnessing this display, I can confidently say that I will never do business with someone who treats their own family this way. Alexis, your behavior shows a clear lack of morals and ethics. I'm out. The crowd actually cheered. At a wedding, can you believe it? And then, as if things couldn't get any worse, people started booing. Yes, you heard that right. Alexis was getting booed at her own wedding. It was like watching a train wreck in slow motion. Horrifying, but I couldn't look away. Alexis was standing there, mascara running down her face, looking like her whole world was crumbling around her. And in a way, I guess it was. Now, I'd love to say that I felt nothing but satisfaction watching all this go down. But the truth is, seeing my little sister up there, looking so lost and broken, it tugged at my heart a little. Don't get me wrong, she'd hurt me badly, and a part of me felt she deserved this wake-up call. But another part, the part that had raised her, just wanted to shield her from all of this. But the drama didn't end at the wedding. Oh no, this was just the beginning. The next morning, Alexis was all over social media, and not in a good way. Entitled Bride and Sistergate were trending. People were sharing the story left and right, each version getting more dramatic than the last. It was like the internet had collectively decided that Alexis was the villain of the year. I got a panic call from her at about 6 a.m. Selena, have you seen the news? It's everywhere. What am I going to do? Oh, now you want my help? Oh, fine. I'm sorry, okay? I should have invited you to my wedding. Really, Alexis? That's what you're going to say to me? Well, what the heck else do you want me to say? This was all your fault anyway. I told you not to come to my wedding. And how the heck do you even know Hester Bridgeworth anyway? My life is falling apart and it's all your fault. At that moment, I realized that there was just no getting through to someone like that. So I said, you know what, Al? I'm glad you called and confirmed how much of an awful person you actually are. Excuse me? You heard me. These are just the consequences of your actions. And if you're still failing to see that, then I don't know what to tell you. TMZ asked me to give them a story, and I turned it down because even though you've treated me horribly, I didn't want to twist the knife even more. But now I'm reconsidering it. What? Oh my God, don't you dare. Please, I'm sorry. It's too late, I'm afraid. I have nothing left to give you. You've drained all of my patience. I guess you're finally getting what you wanted. I'm no longer your sister. What? Selena, no, don't say that. Look, I'm serious this time. I'm really, really sorry about how things turned out. I'm so sorry. Please don't leave me. Grayson wants to get the marriage annulled. I'm getting death threats, and my team isn't even looking at me the same. What a shame. Not my problem. You're all I have left. I don't care. Why don't you make some new friends with all that money you have? Don't call me again. You made your bed. Now lay in it. It wasn't just Alexis' personal reputation taking a hit. Her business was feeling the heat too. People were calling for boycotts of her products. Turns out, the public doesn't take kindly to greedy, selfish business owners who disown their families. Who knew? I saw posts like, "Can't believe I bought underwear from someone who'd treat their own sister like that. Never again. Boycott Alexis' undies. If she can turn her back on family, imagine how she treats her employees. Cancel Alexis." It was brutal. This 21st century internet stuff is no joke. Those Gen Zers will rip your throat out if you're not careful. Within a week, Alexis' sales had plummeted. She was losing contracts left and right, and the business she'd worked so hard to build was crumbling before her eyes. It wasn't going to be easy. Alexis had a long road ahead of her to rebuild her reputation and her business. But I made a promise to myself right then and there that I'd be there for her every step of the way. Not because she deserved it, but because that's what big sisters do. The next few months were tough. Alexis had to do a lot of public apologizing and make some pretty big changes to her company policies to start winning back public trust. She even started a scholarship program for underprivileged kids, naming it after me, which was equal parts touching and embarrassing. As for me, well, life has a funny way of working out sometimes. Oh, the media attention on our story led to some unexpected opportunities. I got offers to write a book about our experience and even some speaking gigs about the importance of family and integrity in business. Hester, being Hester, couldn't resist jumping on the bandwagon. He started a mentorship program for young entrepreneurs with a focus on ethical business practices. And guess who he asked to help run it? Yep, yours truly. Hester, are you sure about this? I'm not exactly a big shot businesswoman. No, but you've got something even more important: integrity and real world experience. These kids could learn a lot from you. So there I was, going from factory manager to business ethics mentor. Life really does take you to unexpected places, doesn't it? As for Alexis and me, well, I'm still not speaking to her. Can't blame me, right? I can't tell if she's being genuine or if she just wants to repair her public image. My heart is still broken, of course, but I'm learning that it doesn't matter who you're biologically related to. Heck, I've only known Hester a couple of years, and he's the only family I know. There are still days when the past hurts resurface, but I know that Alexis is suffering the brunt of it, and I'm satisfied with the revenge I got. Looking back on everything that happened, from the years of estrangement to the wedding drama to the aftermath, I can't help but shake my head in disbelief. If someone had told me a year ago that all this would happen, I would have laughed in their face. But you know what? In a weird way, I'm almost grateful for how it all went down. Don't get me wrong, I wouldn't want to relive it, but sometimes it takes hitting rock bottom to realize what really matters in life. Alexis learned some hard lessons about the importance of family and integrity. I learned that it's okay to stand up for yourself, even against the people you love.